Well, good evening and welcome to Brucehurst Field at Dixie State University for the 2019 Red Rock Classic. As once again we're here for Spanish Fork as the Dons will get ready to take on the Pleasant Grove Vikings. Great to be with everybody on a Friday night for high school baseball. Ryan Pickens alongside Andrew LaRose. And Andrew, we had a great game last night with Spanish Fork. The Dons unfortunately not coming out with the W, but if you're head coach Casey Nelson, you're in a position here where you're still maybe trying to make those last-minute adjustments before region play, and you found out a couple of things about your team last night.
Well, you definitely did, Ryan. One of those things is that Cy Nielsen, even though he kind of struggled with control and with his command, he was absolutely sensational still, though. Like, he had 9 strikeouts in that game, which is pretty impressive since he only pitched 5 2/3, and so the stuff was there for Nielsen, and so you like to see that. You know that he's already kind of in midseason form in that sense in terms of his stuff, and so it's just trying to get him to calm it down a bit. But then you also saw some good things. In particular, we saw some good hitting out of Tanner Peterson, who was our MVP that we decided on in our last game. He actually will be batting in the 9 spot tonight in the order, and so certainly definitely some positives in that way. And then you get to face a Pleasant Grove team that's they're pretty good. The Vikings have a good squad this season.
Head coach Darren Henry has the Vikings, I believe, at 6-0 on the 2019 season, and it's been one of those things for the Vikings that trying to make sure they continue to play good high-level baseball has been something that they've been known historically to be able to do. We've seen them multiple times down here in the tournaments. There is a great crowd settling in here at the ballpark, as you see just below the press box here. There's a couple people trying to find final seats, and they was like, we want to sit behind home plate, but there just weren't many options behind home plate here for this one. We're getting ready here for first pitch. They've just had the umpires meeting with the coaches, and the pitchers are down in the bullpens making their final warm-up tosses here. Spanish Fork will be the visiting team tonight, and Pleasant Grove will be the home team here in this one. The Dons will wear red tops with white pants, Pleasant Grove in the all-whites. And with that, let's take a look at our starting lineup here first for the visiting Spanish Fork Dons.
Yeah, starting off today for the Dons is going to be leadoff hitter Tay Newman. He is actually jumping across the diamond here. He was at third base yesterday, but tonight he is playing second for the Dons. Batting second is Noah Conway. He's out in right field, wearing number 19. Third is Andrew Pintar, the shortstop. Batting cleanup is Cy Nielsen out in center field. Batting fifth is Josh Dart, who was not in last night's game but is over at third base. Batting sixth is the designated hitter Hunter Clark. Batting seventh is Mason Nielsen over at first base. Batting eighth is Skylar Horain, our catcher. And then, as we mentioned, batting ninth tonight for the Dons is Tanner Peterson out in left field.
So right now we'll get set and ready to go here. Pleasant Grove, the Vikings will have an opportunity tonight to see what they can get out of their starting pitcher, Cole Blackhurst. Blackhurst, the number 2 pitcher yesterday for Pleasant Grove. The Vikings threw their starting third baseman, Kyler Lester, who's been oftentimes their number 1 on the year for Pleasant Grove. And these stats are going to be, we'll give you just a kind of a little glimpse. Blackhurst is 3-0 on the year. No ERA reported so far, so it could be a difficult night for Spanish Fork to see if they can get the bats going here against Blackhurst. Pleasant Grove has just taken the field. We'll take a moment here and let's look at the defensive alignment for the Pleasant Grove Vikings.
Pitching for the Pleasant Grove Vikings is Cole Blackhurst, like we talked about. Starting at catcher for them is Ty Barker. Over at first base is Dylan Train. Over at second base for the Vikings is who have we got at second base?
It's going to be Stockton Vinker. He's going to be playing second base. He will not bat, however. One of the things you can do in high school baseball, have someone play defense but not hit.
There we go. That's why I hadn't had him written down. We got Brock Watkins there at shortstop, Kyler Lester at third base, and then out in the outfield for the Vikings. In left field, we have Peyton Norman. In center field, we have Noah Taylor. And in right field, we have Jake Fryer.
So we're just about set and ready to go. The umpire will let Spanish Fork know they're going to have 2 more warm-up tosses. And we will be ready to go here for day number 2 down here in St. George for Spanish Fork last night, dropping a game here in down here at Brucehurst Field. And we will see here it's Tay Newman, the third baseman, will stand in. Or Newman, sorry, not playing third base tonight. One of the changes for head coach Casey Nelson. Tay Newman will move over and play at second base here tonight. We're set and ready to go here as Newman's about set and ready to stand in the box. It's just past, well, we're just approaching 9 o'clock. They were hoping for a 9 p.m. first pitch, and sure enough, here we are with a 9 p.m. first pitch as the right-hander ready to come home, and the wind and the delivery, and the first pitch is fouled away. No balls and a strike here on Tay Newman.
Yeah, nice job there by Newman to fight that one off, that one outside. Taking a nice hack there at that first pitch. We'll see what he's able to do here as leadoff man. Did a pretty good job in last night's game as well.
There's a one-hopper down the left field line for a leadoff base hit. And one swing of the bat, Tay Newman's aboard for Spanish Fork. Kind of what you want to see from the Dons here early on is to try to see if they can get some offense going here in this one.
Yeah, Newman doing exactly what he's supposed to do there. Sees the pitch right down the center and just rips it right down that left field line. Nice job there, gets himself on base, and now it brings up Noah Conway.
Scheduled to play 7 innings here, as Conway will stand in the right fielder. The first pitch right on the outside corner, but maybe missed low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Conway last night for Spanish Fork, 1 for 4 with a base hit. I believe that base hit was an RBI single he had back in the 3rd inning. The 1-0 pitch, and he's going to lift this one on the infield. Coming in from center field is going to be Noah Taylor, who will drop the baseball. Brock Watkins, the shortstop, will pick it up and throw it back in, and that's going to be an early E8 there on the Pleasant Grove center fielder.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate break there for the Vikings. That's what usually would be kind of a routine pop fly there, but something crazy happens there, ends up falling to the grass. So big break, though, for the Dons.
And now runners on at first and second with nobody out. Andrew Pintar will come to the plate. You would love to give starting pitcher Mason Olson some early run support here against this Vikings offense. Vikings have done a great job in being able to swing the bat. This will also force Blackhurst, the starting pitcher for Pleasant Grove, into the stretch. Ready to go. Pintar shows bunt, lays it down, and this is going to be a good bunt, and it's going to be a base hit. Everybody is safe there, and Spanish Fork has loaded the bases here in the first, and now just the position you want to be in with Cy Nielsen coming to the plate.
Oh, absolutely, bringing up the big cleanup man to clean up all these runners. Man, what a beautiful bunt there by Andrew Pintar. Lays that one perfectly down the left field line there, like just gets it right in between the pitcher, the third baseman, and the catcher. Like, obviously was going for a sacrifice situation there, but man was able to place it so perfectly that he gets himself on base as well.
And here's the pitch to Cy Nielsen right there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 here on Cy Nielsen. Bases full for Spanish Fork here in the top of the first inning. Spanish Fork looking to try to see if they can get something going here. Nielsen pops this one up. The catcher, Barker, is going to give it a look, but it's foul, and we'll do it again. 1 ball and 1 strike here, or sorry, no balls and 2 strikes on Cy Nielsen.
Yeah, early hole here for Nielsen. So he's going to have to protect the plate here a bit, make sure to expand the zone just a bit to make sure that you don't get the strikeout here. This is a big opportunity, but you also want to be careful as well that you don't want to end up grounding it out here and potentially forcing a double play.
This one inside and tight, and it hits Cy Nielsen, and the bases will remain loaded, but Spanish Fork will score the game's first run. It's 1-0 Dons here in the first.
Well, that's certainly one way to get it done, is just go ahead and get hit by that pitch. Brings in a runner. Nice job there by Nielsen. Again, yeah, was in that 0-2 hole, but does a good job to still score a run there.
Josh Dart, the third baseman, will stand in from the left side for the Dons. Blackhurst ready to come home. This one, he pours it in for a strike, and it's 0-1 on Josh Dart. That's definitely something that Spanish Fork would love to get a big inning early on. This one inside and tight's going to get away from the catcher. Noah Conway is going to sprint home from third. It's 2-0 Spanish Fork. The other two base runners will find a way. Darren Henry coming out, and he wants the umpires to talk about it, thinking that Josh Dart made some contact with it. Josh Dart's going to go to first like it hit him. Nonetheless, a second run will come in to score.
Yeah, quite the crazy sequence right there, as it looks like it was just a pass ball. Looks like we got a... Yep, they're going to bring him back.
They're going to say it looks like it went foul, and so Josh Dart will have to get back in the box, take the run for Noah Conway off the board, and it's 1-0 Spanish Fork still. Nobody out, and now head coach Casey Nelson going to come out, and he wants an explanation right here, and he's going to plead his case right here with our home plate umpire. As it looks like what they're going to say is that it hit like off the knob of the bat and went foul, and it wasn't a pass ball or anything there.
Yeah, just from the looks of how it looked from up here, it did look like it hit something, whether it was him or the bat, and it sounds like in this case that they are going with that it hit the, as you said there, Ryan, it hit the knob of the bat there, which then would, as they said here and overturned the call here, it would be a foul ball, and that sends obviously Conway back to third, and obviously still a great situation here though for the Dons. I mean, bases loaded here in the first inning. They've already got a run across. I mean, if Dart can get a good base hit here, scores two, get an extra base hit, potentially looking at 3 runs on that particular hit, and they could just blow this thing wide open right from the get-go.
Our home plate umpire, I think, was pretty much done with the discussion, just walked away from Casey Nelson, went back behind the plate. The pitch misses there for a ball, and it should be, I believe, 1-2 here on Dart. Dart ready to go to stand in here. Bases full for Spanish Fork. And the pitch on its way home. That one's going to miss low and inside, and the count evens up at 2-2.
You know, probably a smart idea there for Blackhurst. Goes outside with that last ball, and this time coming in. So trying to work both sides of the plate and trying to get Dart to chase at something.
Ready to go here, the 2-2 pitch. Fastball misses outside, ball 3. The count goes full here on Josh Dart. If you're Spanish Fork, and I think it's... Here's the pitch on its way home. Dart lines this one into left center field. Coming over Taylor, it's going to fall. Conway will score. Getting the green light is Pintar. Brock Watkins relay throws offline, gets away from Barker, and going up to second and third will be Cy Nielsen to third, and Josh Dart to second. It's 3-0 Spanish Fork.
Huge hit there by Josh Dart. Able to dump that one right there in the gap in left center. Does a just beautiful piece of hitting there, hitting that opposite field. It did have to wait a little bit there holding up Pintar, but man, he was able to show his wheels there. Dude is fast as lightning, so was able to get home with a bit of a missed throw there from the outfield to advance the runners to second and third. So that was a huge hit right here at the beginning of the game for Josh Dart.
And a timely hit. Some things you want to see from Spanish Fork, Andrew, is some of those timely hits falling like they did right there and being able to find a way to get their runs home. And right here, Darren Henry going to come out and have a conversation, looks like, with his starting pitcher, as Cole Blackhurst has yet to get the first out of the inning. There's still 2 more Dons on the base paths as the designated hitter, Hunter Clark, will come to the plate. And that's definitely something you want to do, try to figure out a way. You like those crooked innings in baseball. To put up a 4 or 5 spot especially if you can do it before your pitcher takes the mound.
Oh, absolutely. It really just gives your pitcher confidence through the rest of the game.
Hunter Clark lifts this one well to left field, going back and getting under it. Making the play is Norman, tagging his Cy Nielsen. He'll come in to score. It's 4-0 Spanish Fork. And a nice piece of hitting there from Hunter Clark. Not to do something too difficult there, but just lift one deep enough in the outfield.
Yep. Good fundamental baseball there by Hunter Clark. He's able to get a pitch that he's able to rip out into the outfield. Gets it deep enough for an easy sac fly there. So Nielsen able to come in and just extend this lead even further.
Here's Mason Nielsen now, the first baseman. Stands in, sees a first pitch curveball that gets in there for strike one. And it's 0-1 here on Mason Nielsen. So Pleasant Grove, they already know they're going to have some work to do in the bottom of the inning offensively. Cole Blackhurst from the stretch comes home. That one blocked in the dirt. A nice job by Barker to keep it in front of him. And it evens the count up at 1-1 strike. 4 runs in here in the top of the first inning, just underway from St. George. Got underway just about, I think exactly on the dot for 9 p.m. The 1-1 pitch on its way, inside and tight for ball 2. It's 2 balls and a strike. There was some rain that came through overnight down here in St. George, and that wreaked havoc with the field. This morning, they were supposed to start at 9:30. I talked with tournament director Chad Shepard for a few minutes between ball games, and that one came on the outside for ball 3-1. And I asked him, I said, was this weather related that we had to push the game back? He goes, yep. He goes, the infield just needed to have some more work done before we could start playing, so they pushed it back 3 hours. Didn't get started officially until about 1 p.m. The 3-1 pitch on the outside corner, called strike as Nielsen started heading towards first.
Yeah, that one always hurts. You're like, oh yeah, I got the walk, and then instead you're called right back. But we'll see what Nielsen's able to do here with this full count.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. The pitch to Nielsen, and he lines a one-hopper up over to Watkins, who fires to first in time, and there's 2 gone.
Yeah, not a fun one there for the ump as he has to kind of jump out of the way, but a good play there by Watkins. You see that kid's got a cannon for an arm. That had some velocity to it.
Here's Skylar Horine, the catcher. He takes a first pitch, a curveball in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Running over at third base, Josh Dart. He had the big hit of the inning, a 2-run single to left center. That one's going to be fouled back, and we'll do it again. No balls and 2 strikes. See a good-sized crowd filing in here to Brucehurst Field on the campus of Dixie State. The 1-2 pitch. This one sent foul again down to some of the hitting areas. It sit just down the right field line here. Some batting cages. And here's the 0-2 pitch on its way home. That one's going to be grounded towards third. Up with it is Lester. He fires across the diamond in time, and the top half of the first inning is over. But the damage is done. Spanish Fork brings the bats ready to play tonight. The Dons score 4 runs in the top of the first inning, and that will give starting pitcher Mason Olson something to work with right here in the bottom of the first inning. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17. Let's thank our sponsors for making each and every game possible here on Spanish Fork 17.
Yeah, we've got 2 Jack's Pizza, Lance Wilson State Farm, MVP Sports, the Blue Diamond Auto Group, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Driggs Mortgage Team, and McKell, Thompson, and Wise, attorneys at law.
We also want to remind you, you can catch this broadcast and our many other broadcasts on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. So we move to the bottom of the first inning. Pleasant Grove will have some work to do, as we also want to remind you that coming up tomorrow, we'll have 2 more games for you. The first one at 2:30 in the afternoon, first pitch, between Spanish Fork and the Timpanogos Timberwolves. Should be a fun one there. Coach Kim Nelson has put a great program together up there at Timpanogos. And then we're not done. We're going to take a 1-game break, and then we're going to be right back at 7:30 for Spanish Fork against Palo Verde. Palo Verde beating American Fork in the game before us, and they have some offense. That's going to be a big test for Spanish Fork.
Oh, it absolutely is, man. They have some just phenomenal hitters. There were 2 home runs in that game. And again, we're here at a, this is Dixie State here, and so this is a big field, and both of these guys hit absolute just blasts out of here. And so, just to be able to see them and see their offense, it's pretty daunting. So the Dons have quite the task in front of them tomorrow night to be able to play against Palo Verde.
Center fielder Noah Taylor will stand in and lead it off for Pleasant Grove. And Mason Olson, the left-hander, comes home. His first pitch in there for a called strike. We'll go through the Pleasant Grove batting order here right after Noah Taylor's at bat. Taylor ready to go from the right side of the box, and the pitch. He lays a bunt right back to the pitcher Olson, who fires to first. I thought maybe it had pulled Mason Nielsen, but it did not. And there's going to be one away here in the first.
Yeah, good job there by Olson to get to that one, send it over to first. Little sketchy there. Looked like it almost was going to pull him away. As we said, let's go ahead and give you that Pleasant Grove lineup. So Noah Taylor was the leadoff man. Batting second is Ty Barker. Batting third, Brock Watkins. Batting cleanup is Jake Fryer. Batting fifth is Peyton Norman. Batting sixth, Kyler Lester. Batting seventh, Dylan Train. Batting eighth, Cole Blackhurst. And then batting ninth is Kyle Gassman.
First pitch, they're in there for a strike to Barker, 0-1. This is a Pleasant Grove team that, through their first 4 or 5 ball games, have some hitters that can flat out swing the bat. The 0-1 pitch on its way. That one's lined right to third, and Josh Dart gloves it for a Mikel Thompson and Wines attorneys at law. Great defensive play there from Dart, and there's 2 away here in the first, and that brings up shortstop Brock Watkins. There's a guy in the Pleasant Grove lineup you want to have hit with nobody on base. It's Brock Watkins. Watkins, a 3-year starter for this Pleasant Grove team. And the pitch comes in there. That one misses high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. On Spanish Fork 17, we've seen Watkins play before. Back 2 years ago over at Desert Hills High School when we were down here. The 1-0 pitch on its way. This one's lined into left center field for a base hit. And Watkins aboard with the first hit of the evening for the Pleasant Grove Vikings.
Yeah, just like you've been saying, Ryan, what else is new here with Brock Watkins? This guy is a stud. And so it is a bit of a break here that no one was on base because he could have potentially driven in someone there with that single. But instead, he gets himself on base and gives their cleanup hitter an opportunity.
The stats on Max Preps through 5 games had Watkins having 11 hits and 14 at-bats. That gave him a .786 batting average.
Yeah,
Jake Fryer comes inside and hits him.
Looks like that pitch got a little bit away there from Olson.
When you're hitting .786,
you're doing something right.
Right? That's the time you just have to keep doing what you're doing. So Pleasant Grove now with runners on at first and second following the hit by pitch, and that brings up Peyton Norman, the left fielder. 2 outs here in the top of the first inning, or bottom of the first inning. 4 runs across for Spanish Fork in the top of the first. Mason Olson comes in, that one in there for a strike, and it's 0-1 on Peyton Norman.
Yeah, just 2 strikes away, or a ground ball or a fly ball away from a lockdown inning here, which would be absolutely huge for the Dons being able to maintain that 4-run lead going into the second.
The 0-1 on its way. This one inside and tight for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to count. We talked about that rain in the top of the inning, playing, just kind of wreaking havoc. And this game started late. I mean, we weren't scheduled to start at 9. We were scheduled to start at 7:30. The 1-1 pitch, about ready to come home. And this one swung out and missed, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes here on Peyton Norman. But across the city here in St. George, the Desert Hills is hosting a tournament as well. And a familiar opponent, the Salem Hills Skyhawks, are playing in that tournament. And they have a game that's not even started yet. They're not going to get underway with that one until 10 p.m. is the scheduled first pitch. The 1-1 pitch, and Norman hits this one down the right field line. It is slicing, though, towards the foul pole, and it will go foul. And it's 1-2, a long strike there for Norman.
Wow, that is some impressive opposite field power. I thought for a quick second there that thing was going to potentially wrap around the foul pole there, and that was going to be a 3-run home run. So, man, this guy has some good power.
There, just a long strike, and now he has a 1-ball, 2-strike count. It looked like some kind of a ball of some sort had gotten on the field down by the Spanish Fork Dons bullpen. Here's the 1-2 pitch on its way. This one's popped up and sent foul, and we'll do it again, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pleasant Grove occupying the third base dugout. Spanish Fork occupying the first base dugout here. And right now the Vikings trying to see if they can chip back in a run or two here in the bottom of the first inning. Ready to go. Olsen comes in. This one's bounced over deep in the hole at short. Pintar comes up with it, throws low, and Mason Nielsen didn't get him. Safe at first is Norman, and the bases are loaded for Pleasant Grove.
It looked like it was some miscommunication there, actually, between Dart and Pintar as Dart cut across, diving, trying to get that ball. Thankfully, Pintar was able to come up with it clean and did try to get it over, but just not quite in time to get Norman out there.
And so now base is full, and that's going to bring up Kyler Lester. Lester ready to go. The pitch low for a ball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes here on Kyler Lester. So if there's a position you would want to be in if you're Pleasant Grove, it's this one. Get down 4-0 in the first, which that's not the scenario you wanted, but given the circumstance to try to chip back in, you like the idea of here of having runners on with 2 outs in the inning. That one in there for a strike. Evens the count up at 1-1.
Yeah, beautiful pitch there by Olsen, getting that inside corner, and that's going to be his best friend in this game.
The 1-1 pitch, and this one's softly lined to short. Pintar's got it, and the inning is over. We've played 1 from St. George. Spanish Fork 4. Pleasant Grove 0. We head to the second after the break on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? Come to the guys you trust. The Car Guys are part of the Blue Diamond Auto Group, and they have the best selection of quality vehicles at the best prices for your budget. The Blue Diamond Auto Group with the Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street Crater, the mother of all potholes. Got me good.
But you know State Farm's got you, too.
You ain't nothing!
Go with the one that's here to help life go right.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson.
Hi, welcome to Two Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
I definitely recommend the Driggs team. They're amazing.
Hi, I'm Greg with the Driggs Mortgage Team, where we believe there's no substitute for experience. Stop by our office today on Main Street and let us help you get into your brand new home.
Top of the second inning here from Brucehurst Field in St. George, Utah, and it's a 4-0 lead for the Spanish Fork Dons right here, 9-1-2. Tanner Peterson, Tay Newman, and Noah Conway coming up. It will be Cole Blackhurst delivering his first pitch, and this one's popped up on the infield. Off with the mask is Barker behind the plate, and he dropped it, but then somehow corrals it in with his glove hand and the chest protector to make the catch, and there's one away.
Making it crazy out there, that's for sure. That was a little bit of a stressful moment there for the catcher, but nice job to be able to keep with it, juggle it around a little bit, and eventually be able to make the play there.
And a big first out there as it will bring up Tay Newman, 1 for 1 with a base hit. And this one's lined right back up the middle for a base hit, and Tay Newman's aboard for the second time in the ball game in the second straight inning. That will bring up Noah Conway.
Yeah, Newman seeming to see the ball pretty well here tonight, as that's two singles and 2 at-bats, doing his job here at the top of the order to set the table up for the rest of the team.
Noah Conway, the right fielder, will stand in. Conway reached in his first plate appearance, and that one throw over to first.
Yeah, was the beneficiary of a missed play out there in center field.
Ready to go, Blackhurst. Slow curveball, and this one missed, maybe a little tight for ball one. Blackhurst kind of just grabbing the ball, I think in a little bit of frustration there that he didn't get the strike call. Blackhurst trying to work through a rough start. The 1-0 pitch on its way right there with the fastball, evens the count up at 1-1. It's difficult sometimes as a pitcher when some frustration quickly mounts, when other teams are getting some base hits and then an error gets thrown in there. It just kind of gets you out of your groove.
Yeah, it just feels like nothing's breaking your way at that point.
The 1-1 pitch fouled back, and it's 1-2 now here on Noah Conway. Andrew Pintar on deck.
Well, and even as you were saying, like even at the beginning of this at-bat, he throws what he thought was a nice curveball, and instead it's called a ball. But he's done a good job to charge back into this as he's put himself in a good pitcher's count here at 1-2.
Blackhurst would love a quick inning with not a ton of pitches being thrown. The 1-2 right on the black on the outside corner for strike three. That is his first strikeout of the evening right there. And there's one away. Here's Andrew Pintar.
Yeah, that was a great pitch there by Blackhurst. Again, working the black of the outside corner after not finding as much success on the inside corner. Does a good job of working a couple of pitches on that outside corner and got good called strikes.
First pitch to Andrew Pintar. This one's grounded past the diving third baseman Lester into left field. And Andrew Pintar now aboard, and Spanish Fork has found a way, not really doing any really big extra base hits, but it's all been on singles tonight for Spanish Fork, and that's really been the beneficiary for the Dons so far. And that brings up Cy Nielsen, who was hit by a pitch and came around to score a run back in the first.
Yep, slow and steady wins the race sometimes, Ryan. Sometimes it is. You just pick away with a hit there, a couple singles, some walks, some hit by pitches, and you just pour in the runs.
They try the outside corner again. First pitch to Nielsen misses for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Cy Nielsen got the start last night for Spanish Fork on the mound. Pitched well. The 1-0 pitch, that one blocked in the dirt. The runner gets away from second base as Newman, who quickly scrambles to get back. It's 2-0, however, on Nielsen. And this has been the tough part for Cole Blackhurst tonight. When runners have gotten on base, he's had a hard time finding the strike zone.
Yeah, he really has. It seems like he's getting a little frazzled out there at times, and so the command just kind of gets away from him.
Ready to go, the pitch. That's a nice looking curveball there on the corner for a called strike, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, that felt like a soft take there by Cy Nielsen. Just kind of like, okay, unless I really like the pitch, I'm just not going to swing at it, which at this point probably was a decent approach.
The 2-1 pitch, high and tight, ball 3. The count moves to 3-1 on Cy Nielsen. Tay Newman running out at second base. Andrew Pintar running over at first base for Spanish Fork. The Dons trying to see what they can do here. Cy Nielsen should see a good 3-1 pitch right here. Blackhurst from the stretch comes home, goes to the slow curveball, misses outside, and the bases are loaded for Spanish Fork for the second time in the ball game. And now you got to face Josh Dart. Dart back in the first inning got a Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance great RBI. Just put a line drive base hit out into left center field that brought home 2 runs. Takes the first pitch fastball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Now looking to see here with 2 outs in the inning if he can extend the inning again. He would love another one of those base hits.
Oh, you know you would. Always love an opportunity to step up for your team. And he does it again.
There's a base hit. That's going to score 1 run. Coming around third and scoring is Pintar. And going into second with a double, a 2 Jacks Pizza double right there is Josh Dart, who's now got a single and a double and 4 runs batted in. And Spanish Fork has really figured out here how to hit off Cole Blackhurst.
And have yourself a merry little ball game here. Josh Dart, 2 huge hits to start off this game. And so, yeah, just absolutely, when it rains, it pours, and that is what's happening right here for the Dons. Just seeing the ball really well out of Blackhurst's hand, and the offense is just absolutely rolling in this one.
Hunter Clark, the DH, stands in, sacrifice fly in his first plate appearance. This one inside and tight and hits Clark on the shoulder, and the bases are now full again for Spanish Fork. They will send, for the second time in this ball game, the 8th man to the plate. And Pleasant Grove head coach Darren Henry out off the warning track of the dugout to give some encouragement, but beginning to pace a little bit by that Pleasant Grove dugout. Here's Mason Nielsen, grounded out to short back in the first. First pitch there misses off the plate low and outside for ball 1. It's 1 ball and no strikes. The Vikings are, I believe, going to get a pitcher warming up down in their bullpen. They don't want to get down too early by very many to Spanish Fork. The 1-0 pitch swung out and missed. Evens the count up here, 1 ball and 1 strike on Mason Nielsen.
Yeah, that was a great curveball that Blackhurst just threw as he was able to slow down the bat of Nielsen. He was way out in front on that one.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and there's a fastball right on the outside corner. 2-1 the count here on Mason Nielsen. Nielsen did not play in last night's ball game for Spanish Fork. But in there this evening, the 2-1 on its way. Made contact, but just rolls it foul over to the Spanish Fork dugout. 6-0 Dons here in the top of the second inning. 2 runs in again here in the second, and 3 Dons on the base paths here.
Yeah, if you like offense, this has been quite the game for you.
The 2-2 pitch. Nielsen, a tough take there, and he gets lucky with ball 3. And now with the count full, Andrew, the runners on the base paths, at least at first and second, can take off with the pitch.
Yep, they can get a quick start here.
And the 3-2 runners take off. Nielsen pops it up, however, in foul territory. Tran, the first baseman, will come up with it and make the catch, and Spanish Fork strands the bases loaded. However, the Dons add 2 runs here in the inning to take a 6-0 lead here in St. George. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17. Let's thank our sponsors for making our broadcast possible. We have the Car Guys at the Blue Diamond Auto Group, our instant replay. MVP Sports for our MVP of the game. Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance for the great RBI. 2 Jacks Pizza for a 2-Jack double. Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for our Triple T triple. McKell Thompson and Wise Attorneys at Law for great defensive play. And our good friends at the Driggs Mortgage Team. We thank them for all being a part of our broadcast here on Spanish Fork 17. A lot of them have been with us throughout our entire high school sports season, and baseball and the spring sports season kind of brings that to a close with some great moments we've had, from being on the gridiron to the basketball court. And right now, you have to love those great moments the Spanish Fork offense is giving you if you're Mason Olson getting ready to start the second inning.
Oh, it gives you all sorts of confidence, Ryan. Just being able to go out on the mound and realize, hey, I've got all the runs that I need, and now it's my job to come in here and lock it down, be able to stop this Vikings offense, make sure to keep that lead exactly where it is. But it also does. It really just allows you to just relax, be you, not get crazy with it. Don't force pitches. You can just kind of go through your sequences, go through the motions, and just trust your stuff at this point.
The first baseman, Dylan Train, to lead it off, and the first pitch on its way is right on the outside corner for a ball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Cole Blackhurst, the pitcher, and then Kyle Gassman, the DH, to follow. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way. That one off the glove into the backstop, and it's 2 balls and no strikes here on Train. And that's one thing that it's nice as a pitcher to be out there, as Andrew was mentioning. You miss with a fastball and the guy hits a home run, you just kind of quickly brush it off. There's a nice 2-0 pitch on the inside corner for a strike. In a tie ball game, however, or a 1-run ball game, that same home run quickly changes things. The 2-0 pitch misses high ball 3, and it's 3-1 the count on Train.
Yeah, it really is. It's just a mindset. It's just being able to, if you do make a mistake or two, it's not a big deal at this point.
That one missing high and outside, ball 4, and Train will draw a free pass here in the second to start against Mason Olson. The Vikings of Pleasant Grove loaded the bases in the first inning but couldn't get a run across. And now that will bring up the pitcher, Cole Blackhurst. And if there's a hitter in that Pleasant Grove lineup that wants to help out with the way this game has started for the Vikings, no doubt in my mind it would be Cole Blackhurst.
Oh, you know that's right. As a pitcher, you want to be able to come up and avenge a little bit for the wrongs that have happened thus far.
Fastball in just below the belt for a strike, and it's 0-1 on Blackhurst. Blackhurst not having the best season with the bat. Only 2 hits in his first 17 plate appearances through 5 ball games. The pitch on its way, slow curveball in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. The count. This is a Pleasant Grove team that through their first 4 or 5 games had about 5 hitters hitting above 300. That is a great clip. The 0-2 pitch, slow curveball in there, called strike 3.
Oh, what a beautiful pitch. That's 2 straight curveballs that have just been absolutely magnificent from Olson. Just to have a nice tight slow spin to them, has some good action to it. That is the kind of pitch that you need to be able to have that out pitch. Obviously, every pitcher needs a good fastball, but you really need at least one really good secondary pitch, and tonight for Olson it looks like it's his curveball.
Gassman swings at the first pitch and sends it foul. It'll be a long strike 1. It'll be 0-1 the count here on Gassman. Top of the lineup and Noah Taylor coming up for Pleasant Grove. Ready to go from the stretch. The pitch, this one low and outside, misses for a ball, and it evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
It looked like a pitch that got a little bit away there from Olson as he gets himself set back up here for pitch number 3.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a nice curveball in the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-2 the count now here on Gassman.
And what's been good so far for Olson is that he's been able to really locate this curveball.
The 1-2 pitch, that one close again, but missed for a ball, and it evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mason Nielsen over at first base holding on the runner as we see Gassman get ready to go in the box. The 2-2 pitch, that's a beauty. Strike 3 with the curveball in the inside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts there from Olson, and with 2 away it brings up Noah Taylor.
Oh man, that curveball is just working beautifully, especially as you've seen in these last 2 at-bats where he's gotten... It's always nice as a pitcher when they don't swing at it and you get that called strikeout is just so satisfying.
Taylor makes contact and sends it foul right away, and it's quickly no balls and a strike on Taylor. Mason Olson, the left-hander, ready to go. On the mound, comes home. The pitch sent foul. This one, ooh, look out down the line. There, that one hitting, I think, off the railing that sits right below the concourse. We have a camera. You can kind of see it at the top right corner there.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's actually, before this game, we're standing kind of over in that same location. I'd have been running for the hills.
We had a cameraman down there. I hope Adam's okay. Working that camera. The 1-1 pitch. This one's going to be a sharply hit ball. Diving is Pintar. He's just going to knock it into center field. Coming in will be Cy Nielsen. That's a tough play there for any shortstop to make with how hard of the ball was hit. Andrew Pintar did a great job there just trying to get there. And that will be a base hit for Noah Taylor. And that will bring up the catcher, Ty Barker.
Yeah, that was an absolute scorcher. Like even Olson, it was a line drive that was kind of right by Olson as well. He tried to make a stab at it, but unable to do so. But Pintar does a good job of at least getting a piece of the ball, because if that rolls out into center field, then that had a potential to have maybe at least moved the runner from second to third, and then you're looking at a less advantageous position for the Dons. And so nice job there by Pintar to get that piece and be able to kind of be able to make it so that the other guys be able to make a play and get the ball in quick.
Right now, as Ty Barker stands in, Barker hit a line drive that was hard hit, but just hit it right at Josh Dart. And the pitch on its way. This one inside and tight for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count here on Barker.
Yeah, that one almost looked like it hit him. That was pretty close. felt the breeze of that one up here.
I wasn't sure how he was going to try to get out of the way of that, because I was thinking the same thing. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Slow curveballs hit out in the left field. Coming in quickly in left is Peterson, who will get there and run it down, and the inning is over. Well, we've reached the end of 2 here at Spanish Fork 6, Pleasant Grove 0. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Thompson & Wise.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Top of the 3rd inning here at Bruce Hurst Field. It's a 6-0 lead for Spanish Fork, and right now the Dons will have a chance to come up here, and really, Andrew, the way they've been swinging the bats right now, Pleasant Grove's have to be very careful here. I believe it's going to be Cole Blackhurst who will at least start this 3rd inning here, and an opportunity. The biggest thing he needs to probably help out with is getting that leadoff guy out.
Oh, absolutely. Is every time he's gotten into trouble real quick in each inning, and so just to be able to give him some confidence even at the beginning of the inning would be huge for him. Again, going into this 2nd inning, I mean, he's already given up 6 runs on 7 hits and just has struggled so far in this start, so you'd like to see him be able to calm down and be able to pitch a clean inning here.
Making contact there is the catcher, Skylar Hodrein, and Hodrein will stand in here with a no-ball, 1-strike count.
And again, that one landed right over by our cameraman once more. It's a busy day over there for Adam.
Slow curveball sent foul, and we'll do it again, 0-2. I think we were joking this morning about the baseball is going to come his way. We're kind of talking about it, and I told him, I said, hey, if the ball comes your way, I'll call it. The pitch right on the outside corner for a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I didn't actually think we'd have 2 balls in the first 3 innings. Be very close to Adam.
Yeah, they were right there. Actually, if he had moved just a bit, he could have made a play on it.
And there is going to be a base hit to center field that's going to fall in front of Noah Taylor. And so the leadoff man again for the 3rd straight inning aboard for Spanish Fork, and that will bring up Tanner Peterson. And now I think we're going to have a speed-up runner over at first base there. In high school baseball, you can have someone come in and run for the speed-up. It will be Morley Bennett who will come in and run over at first base, as it will bring up Tanner Peterson.
That makes sense. Morley Bennett, a pretty regular center fielder for the Dons, and so he's got some speed. A nice little bloop single there by Skylar Hodrein. Nice little piece of hitting there, hit off the end of the bat, but drops in there nicely.
Peterson there, I think, tried to hold up, but couldn't hold up in time for strike 1, and it's 0-1 on Peterson. Morley Bennett, the runner over at first, being held on. Over at first, Blackhurst back from the stretch, runner takes off, and foul tipped at home plate. Morley Bennett had a pretty good jump, so he'll have to come back to first, and it will be no balls and 2 strikes on Tanner Peterson.
Yeah, unfortunate break there for Bennett, because he got a nice jump, and also he showed you his wheels there. Dude is pretty fast, and so I thought he would have had that stolen base, but unfortunately foul tipped, and 0-2 count, not quite as good a count to run on.
Peterson reached base all 3 of his at-bats last night there. Slow curveball for called strike 3, and there's 1 gone here in the 3rd. That is the 2nd strikeout for Blackhurst. And now we'll go back to the top of the lineup and Tay Newman. Newman 2 for 2 with a pair of base hits and has scored 2 runs for Spanish Fork.
Yep, Newman has done his job so far as the leadoff man in this Dons lineup. 2 singles, 2 runs scored. I mean, just been the model of consistency so far for them up at the top of the order.
Newman ready to go from the right side. Blackhurst from the stretch. And the pitch on its way. There's another nice slow curveball over the middle of the plate for strike one. Spanish Fork's been pretty content, Andrew, not to necessarily swing at the first pitch. They've been willing to stand in there and kind of work the count a little bit here and try to get into situations that are favorable as a hitter. 0-2, 0-1 isn't really favorable, but boy, 2-1, 3-1 increases the chances you're going to get a fastball.
Oh, it absolutely does. And so they've done a good job to be patient in their approach, and it's obviously worked for them. They've got 6 runs, 8 hits, and so, I mean, you do what's working for you, and you don't step away from it.
The 0-1 pitch on its way, another breaking pitch in there for a called strike, and it's 0-2 now here on Tay Newman. And right now, if Cole Blackhurst can find some success with the curveball, we may see a lot more breaking pitches here. The third time through the lineup here that Spanish Fork has faced Blackhurst. The 0-2 pitch, fastball, grounded to third. It's misplayed by Lester into left field. Taking a deep turnaround. Second is Bennett. He will hold as the throw goes over the head of Brock Watkins into the glove of the pitcher. So right there, that I would imagine is going to... You could make a case either way that that's a hit or an error.
Yeah, and that's going to be a judgment call there, because obviously it's not an easy play there. That was an absolute scorcher over there, and so I could see them scoring that one a hit as opposed to an error.
They'll put a hit on the scoreboard. There's a line drive. It's knocked down, but gets over the head of Watkins. Coming around third and scoring is Bennett. Into second, a great throw, but it's going to be behind it. 7-0 Spanish Fork, and I think head coach Darren Henry has seen enough here of his starting pitcher. Brock Watkins tried to make a great athletic play at short, just couldn't come up with it as it was over his head. And there is a base hit for Noah Conway that's going to result in an RBI single. He's going to move down to second, however, on the throw home, because the throw from Noah Taylor came in on a hop, a really great throw. But now we'll have to see here how they're going to sort this out right here. The night for Cole Blackhurst is going to come to an end. I think we're going to have some other changes as well, as the second baseman Vinker is going to go back to the dugout. They may keep Blackhurst in at second base. We'll have to sort this out here for you in a moment. But boy, Andrew, when you get the bats going like the way Spanish Fork has found a way to get them going right now, you're in a great position.
Oh, it just makes life so much easier for you as a team when you're seeing the ball like this. It just feels like one of those nights where things are really swinging your way, as you will, because it's been a team effort here. I mean, obviously you've got Newman who's 3 for 3 in this game, and Pintar who is coming up here that's 2 for 2. But I mean, you're getting contributions all across the lineup in this one. You're just getting singles, getting people on base, and just scoring easy. And so when it's games like this, it's just so good on offense, but it also really helps you on defense too, because it gives you that confidence that, hey, like, we've already put up tons of runs, we can breathe, we can not necessarily be so stressed out, just play our game, do what we're supposed to do. Like, the fact that they have this many runs this early is just an absolute blessing for Mason Olson. He's able to, as we talked about in the second inning, kind of go into a bit of cruise control, as you will, in the sense of he doesn't have to stress about making mistakes. He can just go out there and pitch freely, which has got to be just such a burden off of his mind. And so yeah, you've gotta love this offense from the Dons.
So I think we can sort those changes out now, as the new pitcher will be Riley Thomas, number 28, coming in. He's a sophomore right-hander who will come in the ballgame. Now, staying in the ballgame is going to be the starting pitcher, Cole Blackhurst. He'll move to second base. So Blackhurst to second, Riley Thomas on the mound. The hitter, it will be Andrew Pintar, who's 2 for 2 with 2 base hits. At Spanish Fork left 2 runners on, and right now I have it down as a 7-0 lead in my scorebook.
That's what I've got as well.
Okay, scoreboard here showing 6-0, but I think it is 7-0 right now. Andrew Pintar will come to the plate. We're in the top of the third inning. Spanish Fork already with 10 base hits in the ballgame. And Thomas, the right-hander, ready to come home. His first pitch, Pintar swings through it. No balls and a strike here on Andrew Pintar. Pintar's been around here, the Spanish Fork program, for the last couple of years, has seen a lot of playing time for the Dons. Infield coming in for Pleasant Grove, and Pintar grounds this one right to Watkins at short. He'll throw over to first in time to get Pintar for the first out right there. And that's the important thing of bringing that infield in. If that infield's back, that's another run, and there's 2 gone here in the third.
Yep, that was a smart defensive play. Also smart to have had the infield in on that one, be able to keep the runner at third from scoring on that play. Unfortunately for Pintar, unable to come up and deliver in that big situation. But again, hey, he's 2 for 3 this game. He is still having a nice game at the plate.
Cy Nielsen ready to go. He's been hit by a pitch and has walked. Swings at the first pitch and swings through a fastball. No balls and a strike here on Cy Nielsen.
That one was a big cut. And, you don't blame him at this point. I mean, you're up 7 runs. You're not stressing so much. You can kind of swing for the fences a little bit, as you will. And Cy definitely took a big almighty cut on that one, as an extra base hit, or even just a regular base hit at this point is going to get you 2 runs.
No balls and a strike. The pitch to Nielsen, and he's going to make contact. Pops it up over towards the dugout, but it will go foul, and it will be no balls and 2 strikes. You see the ball ending up there, right in front of the Spanish Fork dugout. If you're Pleasant Grove, this is a big hitter in Cy Nielsen to get out, because if Nielsen finds a way to reach, Josh Dart, who has 4 RBIs and 2 hits in the on-deck circle, you'd really like to face Dart with nobody on.
Yeah, not the guy that you want to face in this game. As he, as you said, already has got 4 RBIs and has come up with the bases loaded in both situations when he's come up.
The 0-2 pitch. Nielsen swings and misses, strike 3, and the top of the inning is over. The first strikeout for Thomas. However, Spanish Fork adds 1 here in the top of the third, and the Dons lead Pleasant Grove by a score of 7-0 here at Dixie State University in St. George. Let's go ahead and thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible tonight.
Again, these guys are amazing, and we love them so much. So we've got the car guys over at the Blue Diamond Auto Group, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Thompson and Wise, Attorneys at Law, and the team over at Driggs Mortgage.
We thank our sponsors for making these broadcasts possible. And we got 2 more broadcasts coming up for you tomorrow. Saturday, we'll have a 2:30 first pitch between Spanish Fork and Timpanogos. That will be another fun one tomorrow when you take a look at the program that Timpanogos has. And then we'll take, a couple-hour break, and then we'll have another game coming up. Spanish Fork against Palo Verde from Las Vegas. I think they're the Panthers, put on a good show earlier on today over American Fork, and a good American Fork team.
Oh, yeah, the Cavemen are no team to sniff at. Palo Verde put the hurt on them. They have a very impressive offense. And so, yeah, come join us tomorrow on Spanish Fork 17. We got a full day of baseball for you.
Brock Watkins stands in. The first pitch missing low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count on Watkins, who singled and then got stranded over at first base back in his first plate appearance. Here's the 1-0 pitch on its way. Slow curveball. It missed for a ball, and 2 balls and no strikes on Watkins.
Nice patient approach here from Watkins. And again, as we said when he was up last, I mean, this kid's hitting around 700. Absolutely insane.
The 2-0 pitch misses inside ball 3, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. First base is open, and you have a 7-run lead. I don't know how willing you might be to pitch to Watkins here. 3-0 pitch misses. It gets in there for a strike. Watkins had already tossed the bat over towards the on-deck circle, and now we'll go 3 balls and a strike on Watkins.
Oh, yeah, he thought he was done there. He thought he had done his job and got the walk, but nice job there by Olsen to sneak that strike in. As you can obviously tell, Olsen is kind of being a little cautious here.
3-1, and Watkins fouls this one back to the screen, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes on Brock Watkins.
Yeah, nice job here by Olsen to battle back in this at-bat, at least give them an opportunity to potentially get Watkins out here.
Here's the 3-2 on its way home. That one's going to be bounced foul over by Pleasant Grove head coach Darren Henry. We'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. It wasn't too long ago that the Pleasant Grove Vikings were playing for a state championship. 3-2 pitch. Watkins right back off of Mason Nielsen. That one will ricochet into left field, and Brock Watkins had hit that one hard, and I think Spanish Fork may come out and take a look there at Mason Olson.
And they absolutely should. That was a screaming line drive right at his leg. And so, yeah, they're definitely going to check him out, make sure he's all right. He's got his teammates there with him and coach coming out to discuss and make sure that he's okay.
It looks like, from what he's pointing to, it looks like it kind of came up and hit him close to the kneecap. And from what he's pointing, trainer Rory Eyring, you see him there in the black jacket and with the sweatshirt on. He's out there as well. And they'll let Mason Olson kind of throw a couple of pitches here and see what they have going on here, just to make sure that he's okay. Last night we saw a couple of injuries. This field was a little more soggy yesterday, and in the ball game we saw two players slip. One was the starting pitcher for Faith Lutheran. It was the right-hander Michael Rice slipped fielding a ground ball in the infield. Another pitcher slipped, and then we saw KJ Moo Young, their center fielder, make a great play, but slipped making the play, made the catch, and then slipped again. The first pitch missing outside for ball one to Jake Fryer. Fryer was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance. And here's the 1-0 pitch, about ready to come home, and this one's grounded over to third. Dart couldn't come up with it cleanly. Pintar tries, but he couldn't come up with it cleanly. And so Pleasant Grove here in the third will have a couple of runners on.
Yeah, Dart just not able to quite come up with that one cleanly, and neither could Pintar. A little bit of an unfortunate sequence there for the Dons, but again, you got a 7-0 lead. Things, you can kind of breathe a little bit. Things are okay. Like, yeah, you had a miscue, but it's fine. You live to have another at bat here for the Vikings, and also you've got runners on first and second, so even a potential for a double play here.
Peyton Norman stands in, pops the bunt up, and the catcher will run it down. Holrein behind the plate, able to get there, and there's one away.
Yeah, nice job there by Holrein to get to that one. It's not pop-ups for catchers are not as easy as people would like to think they are. You've got all this gear on you, and your mitt's shaped a little bit differently than everyone else's as well, and also just the angle that you're going at can kind of be difficult as well. And so that was a nice kind of more athletic than you would think kind of play there from Holrein.
Kyler Lester now, the third baseman, stands in. He bounces this one foul. Josh Dart there on the backhand, but in foul territory, so it's strike one. No balls and one strike. There's a full day of action coming here tomorrow, not here on Spanish Fork 17, but here just down here at this tournament. It'll be a very fun and exciting day to kind of wrap this one up. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. Really not in a tournament, a regular tournament kind of format where you would have a championship game and some semifinals tomorrow, but you have more of just a round-robin classic type feel to it right here. No balls and two strikes here with one away. Runners on at first and second, and the pitch swung out and missed. Strike three, and down is Kyler Lester for the second out of the inning. Strikeout number 3 for Olson on the evening, and that will bring up Dylan Train, the first baseman.
Yeah, whatever residual effect from that line drive doesn't seem to be affecting Olson too badly, because he was able to get the strikeout there. Nice placement on that fastball, high and tight, gets the swing and miss.
And that ball was drilled. I mean, there was nothing easy about that line drive. First pitch gets in there for a called strike, and that's got to be one of the worst things to think about as a pitcher, is because that ball's hit so hard right back at you that you don't have a lot of time either, because you have to think of the velocity of the pitch and then the velocity of the hit going the other way, because that one's fouled back, and it's quickly no balls and two strikes.
Yeah, it's easily one of the most terrifying things in this sport is that comeback line drive at a pitcher. It's just, there's not much you can do reaction-wise.
The 0-2 pitch, right on the outside corner, and sits there for the fourth strikeout for Olson, and that ends the third inning. So Pleasant Grove gets a couple of base runners, but no damage done at the end of 3. It is a 7-0 lead for the Spanish Fork Dons.
Need a new car or truck? Come to the guys you trust. The Car Guys are part of the Blue Diamond Auto Group, and they have the best selection of quality vehicles at the best prices for your budget. The Blue Diamond Auto Group with the Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street Crater, the mother of all potholes. Got me good.
But you know State Farm's got you too.
You ain't nothing.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
I definitely recommend the Driggs team. They're amazing.
Hi, I'm Greg with the Driggs Mortgage Team, where we believe there's no substitute for experience. Stop by our office today on Main Street and let us help you get into your brand new home.
Top of the fourth inning here from Bruce Hurst Field at Dixie State University at the 2019 Red Rock Classic. And right now having one of the probably better games in his high school career is Josh Dart. Dart 2 for 2, a single and a double. Both of those have driven in 2 runs in both those plate appearances. First pitch on its way in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Dart making an early case for our MVP Sports MVP of the game. She'll be coming up here at the conclusion of our broadcast here this evening. We appreciate everybody being with us here on a Friday night for high school baseball. The pitch in on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 0-2. It is 10 p.m. down here in St. George, and I didn't expect that we'd be playing this late tonight. Last night was a little bit different story, but when we went to bed last night, I was like, oh, we'll be easily done before it gets super late. Not the case.
Instead, here we are, folks. Here we are.
You just never know what can happen. I've been to several of these tournaments before, and it's kind of, you just never know when Mother Nature or games, some great games might go longer than anticipated on the schedule. The 1-2 pitch is sent foul down the left field line. We'll do it again, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Dart. It's kind of the fun, I feel like, of some of these tournaments.
Oh, it really is. I mean, this is live TV. It's a tournament. Like, I mean, there's just some things that you're not really able to plan for, and certainly this was supposed to be at 7:30, and yet here we are. The game started at 9.
Fouled back by Josh Dart. We'll do it again, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The grounds crew here has just done an amazing job of keeping this field playable with the big amount of rain that came through yesterday, as they've just been able to find a way to keep the field playable. Because, you know, we were here yesterday about 5 p.m., so about 3 hours before first pitch, and there was a game going on, and it was just hard to kind of, just looking at that field, I was wondering whether or not we were even going to get the field playable and be ready to go, but somehow it all kind of worked itself out. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to count on Josh Dart. Ready to go, Thomas on the mound. Peers in, and he's time called. And I don't know how much, because I was watching them as they got the field ready for the game before the Spanish Fork game last night, and they were just taking bags of I don't know if it was Diamond Dry or it was that kind of an agent. That one inside and tight, and Dart able to somehow get out of the way for ball 2. And they were just dumping bags of it. Like, they would start at first base and dump like a whole bag between first base and home plate.
Yep, I mean, there's just so much moisture, and so to be able to have the field be in the condition that it is right now is a bit of a minor miracle, to be honest. It's because there was some rain overnight, and that's why we had the delay in the games earlier today as well.
The 1-2 pitch, Josh Dart will look at strike 3, and there's 1 gone, the second strikeout for Thomas. And with 1 away, brings up Hunter Clark. And that's one thing to remember, is because Dixie State University, they use this field. This is their home field, and they're in the middle of their season. They're on the road this weekend, which allows other people to use that field. But the pitch on its way is sent foul by Hunter Clark. And so Dixie State, they want to make sure this field stays in good shape and playable shape. We saw it a couple weeks back. University of Gonzaga went to play BYU, and the series was scheduled for Spokane, Washington, And about a week and a half early, Andrew, they had to move the series to Provo. That one's popped up. Second baseman Blackhurst will come down with it for the second out of the inning. And inclement weather and field conditions was the reason for moving that series from Spokane to Provo. And with 2 gone, it brings up Mason Nielsen. BYU's really fortunate, however. If you haven't been to Provo to see a game, they have this nice field turf with heat underneath that they can melt snow and keep the field playable. The first pitch to Mason Nielsen misses for ball 1.
Oh yeah, they had a series a couple weeks ago where it snowed. It had snowed like a couple hours before the game, and they somehow were able to play, and it's because of that heated turf.
The 1-0 pitch misses outside, low and outside, ball 2, and it's 2 balls and no strikes here on Mason Nielsen. The right-hander, Thomas, ready to go. Peers in and delivers the 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses low and outside, ball 3, and now it's 3-0 here on Mason Nielsen. And what started out to be a pretty smooth inning for Riley Thomas, he'd really like to send the Dons down 1-2-3 here in the 4th. The pitch inside corner called strike, and it's 3-1.
Yep, good job to just groove in a strike there for him. And unfortunately, Nielsen is one of the ones that's kind of struggling in this one. 0 for 2 so far in this one.
There he swings through it now. The count will go full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nielsen a ground out to short, and then he fouled out over to first to end the second inning. That came with the bases loaded. Back in a 2-run second inning for Spanish Fork. The 3-2 pitch. That one's hit hard, and that one's going to go past Brock Watkins into center field. And a 2-out single for Mason Nielsen.
Nice piece of hitting there by Nielsen, able to find a pitch there on the outer part of the plate. Sends it just straight up the middle. Able to figure out a way to sneak its way under the glove of Watkins and sneak out into center field. So I was just talking about how he was having a bit of a struggling game, and there he goes. He is able to get himself his first base hit of the game.
Skylar Horine is 1 for 2 on the night. He had a ground out to third and then a single came around. He didn't come in to score a run. Morley Bennett came in to run for him, and he scored the run. And now the right-handed pitcher Riley Thomas having to try to work through the 4th inning here from the stretch. And the pitch on its way, and Horine chases that one for strike 1, swings and misses, and it's 0-1. Tran, the runner, or the first baseman for Pleasant Grove, holding on Mason Nielsen. Thomas takes a look over at him and pitches from the stretch. Slow curveball, swung at him, missed, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to count here on Skylar Horine, the catcher. Spanish Fork will be in a nice position here once they go home after this weekend. They'll have a chance to be pretty close to just kind of getting ready for conference, for region play there in Region 10. Ready to go. Here's the 0-2 pitch right on the corner. Called strike 3, and Horine down on strikes. Strikeout number 3 for Riley Thomas. And we head to the bottom of the 4th inning here in St. George. A nice 0-2 pitch, or nice pitch there to Horine right on the outside corner. Tough pitch to lay off.
It's gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. Again, that whole at bat actually was a pretty strong indicator of how he's been throwing lately. Thomas really having a nice mix of pitches there. His fastball working nicely, and his curveball. He was able to throw his curveball in some fastball counts, and so being able to have that kind of weapon is huge, and really has kind of slowed down this hot offense of the Dons.
So we'll take a look here and thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We have the car guys at the Blue Diamond Auto Group, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Thompson and Wise Attorneys at Law, and the Driggs Mortgage Team. We thank you for helping make live broadcasts and trips like these down to St. George possible, and for supporting high school athletics here on Spanish Fork 17. And we're not done tonight. We got 2 more games coming up for you tomorrow. We'll be on the air at a scheduled 2:30 first pitch between Spanish Fork and Timpanogos. And then it will be a 7:30 p.m. first pitch for Spanish Fork against Palo Verde, which will be a fun one to cap off this tournament. We talked about tomorrow. They actually get started. There's multiple games throughout the area. Pineview is hosting a couple of games tomorrow, and that's where our opponent, the Timpanogos Timberwolves, as the first pitch is swung out and missed there by Cole Blackhurst, who's 0 for 1. The Timpanogos Timberwolves were supposed to play American Fork today. That game ended up getting moved today. The 0-1 pitch swung out and missed, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. That game got moved because of the rain. They didn't want to get too far behind schedule. They moved it tomorrow morning at 9:30. The 0-2 pitch swung out and missed, strike 3, and Blackhurst down on strikes. The third straight strikeout for Mason Olson. He's now got 5. With doing that, though, they move it to Pineview at 9:30, which means then Timpanogos has to play at Pineview at 9:30 and then come here and play at 2:30. But we'll get started here. The first game at the Red Rock Classic will be Sky Ridge and Taylorsville at 9 a.m. Desert Oasis and Sky Ridge, that's another one. We haven't seen Desert Oasis here, but they're another school from Las Vegas. That one sent foul by Gassman. And that one will be at Pineview as well. And then we'll be pretty much here the rest of the day. Pleasant Grove, this team will be in action. They play twice tomorrow. They'll play Faith Lutheran, and then they'll also play Palo Verde.
Yeah, those are 2 tough opponents. Those are not going to be easy games for the Vikings.
That pitch swung out and missed by Gassman, and he's down to the count. No balls and 2 strikes. I mean, and it's totally okay because there's more baseball being played at Snow Canyon, where Springville and Salem Hills are this weekend. The 0-2 pitch swung out and missed, strike 3, strikeout number 6 for Mason Olson. And that is his 4th straight strikeout. Oh, and Andrew, just so you know, you're totally comfortable with this. If you didn't want to be here at Dixie, you didn't want to be at Snow Canyon, there's a whole nother tournament at Desert Hills tomorrow as well. So, at Desert Hills High School. So, just keep that in mind for it's your Saturday pleasure, but Andrew, you and I will be here.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be here. We are definitely going to be here, and obviously, folks, we would love for you to be joining us on these broadcasts tomorrow. But if you happen to be down in St. George, you can basically pick a baseball stadium, and there's going to be some baseball being played.
Noah Taylor stands in, takes the first pitch called strike. He's 1 for 2 on the evening for Pleasant Grove. The 0-1 pitch on its way is swung out and missed, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes.
Wow, Olson is just in absolute cruise control here. I mean, 4 straight strikeouts, and these have been, he hasn't thrown a ball in any of these at-bats either. He's just going.
That one's fouled back, and we'll have another 0-2 pitch coming here. For Spanish Fork, they'll get ready to play Payson next week, and that's a region series, and then they'll pop out of region, and they'll play American Fork in a non-region series here in a couple of weeks. Slow curveball swung out and missed. The tag is applied, and that makes 5 straight strikeouts for Mason Olson, and the 4th inning comes to an end. We head to the 5th after the break. This one's all Spanish Fork. Dawn's 7-0 lead over Pleasant Grove.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Thompson & Wise.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Top of the 5th inning, a good-sized crowd has made the trip up from Utah County for this one. As see plenty of blue and plenty of red in the stands tonight as the Pleasant Grove Vikings and the Spanish Fork Dons play some high school baseball here at the Red Rock Classic. And we have a great crew, and it's been fun spending the last couple of days with them. As see our good friend Travis right there on the third base line, and Travis has, boy, worked hard during this one, during this series here for us, and running around getting a lot of other things. And of course we saw Andrew. He's over on the other side, and you know, they're working hard. You see them have their at least one jacket on, each of them tonight, and we're up here in this nice, you know, just kind of warm covered booth. So our crew, you know, it's not just us, Andrew, kind of just showing up and doing this. Our crew puts in a ton of work behind the scenes to make each and every broadcast possible. So we're really grateful for all their hard work. As we start the top of the 5th inning, Tanner Peterson, the only Don to not have a base hit tonight, will stand in and lead it off. Or sorry, the only Don not to reach base tonight stands in, takes strike one.
Peterson had a nice night last night. He went 2 for 3, and again, he brings some nice on-base skills to the bottom of the lineup. Again, batting 9th tonight, but as he showed last night, he definitely is able to be a productive part of this Don's lineup.
The 1-0 pitch, or the 0-1 pitch, sorry, gets there high for a ball, and it evens the count up. 1 ball and 1 strike here on Tanner Peterson. The 1-1 pitch on its way, swung out and missed, and it's 1-2 here on Peterson. Done a nice job for Spanish Fork, really jump-starting the offense last night in a game that Spanish Fork didn't come back and win. It was a big 6th-run 6th inning that helped Faith Lutheran get a 10-5 victory. The Dons had a 5-4 lead, but boy, Faith Lutheran just took advantage of a couple of errors and mistakes. A couple of walks came back to really hurt the Dons. The 2-1 pitch swung out and missed, and the count goes to 2 balls, or that was strike 3, and down on strikes goes Tanner Peterson. 4th strikeout for Thomas since he came in, and all of a sudden we went from having an offensive slugfest, Andrew, to a pitcher's duel.
Yeah, the exact opposite of last night's game, where it looked like it was going to be a pitcher's duel between Rice and Nielsen, and then the offense started pouring in. And this one, the offense came early for the Dons, and now, man, Thomas came in and has just been very impressive for the Vikings.
Tay Newman stands in 3 for 3, 3 base hits and 2 runs scored tonight for the Dons leadoff man. But there he takes a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike, and the 0-1 pitch blocked in the dirt for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. So Newman standing back in, and you have to say the job here that Thomas has done, he's been able to find a nice job here of working both sides of the plate. Here's the pitch about ready to come home, and that one's going to bounce over to third base. Coming up with it, Lester fires across in time, and there's 2 gone here in the 5th.
There you go. Nice play there by the third baseman. Shows his arm off there, cuts it across the diamond, gets the out. It's the first time that Newman's gotten out in this entire game, 3 for 4. So a nice game for the leadoff hitter for the Dons.
Noah Conway stands in right here. Conway reached on an error, a single, and a strikeout. Stands in first pitch, low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count here on Noah Conway.
And I just want to, again, Riley Thomas has been so impressive for the Vikings to have come in and really just kind of silenced the Dons' bats. Like they really were seeing Blackhurst super well.
And Conway hits that one out to right, but hit it right at Fryer, who makes the catch. And the top of the 5th inning comes to an end. 3 up and 3 down, the first time tonight that Pleasant Grove has sent the Dons down in order. And we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Still some work for Pleasant Grove to do. Barker, Watkins, and Fryer coming up for Spanish Fork, for Pleasant Grove. But first off, the Vikings are going to have to figure out a way to get to Mason Olson. We'll talk about that here after we thank our sponsors for making our broadcast possible.
That is the car guys over at the Blue Diamond Auto Group, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, 2 Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikhail Thompson Wise Attorneys at Law, and Driggs Mortgage Team. Again, thank you so much for your support in all of the things that we do here at Spanish Fork 17. It is a privilege to be able to bring you all the great sports that we have here on Spanish Fork 17. It's been just a blast.
It's always fun to see what these high school athletes can do as they compete for the community and for their schools. And we're seeing Mason Olson really put on a show tonight. Andrew, what's Pleasant Grove have to do to try to see if they can get a run or two back?
Well, they got to stop striking out. that's going to be a key, because man, Olson has struck out the last 5 Vikings batters, and so he's just absolutely just dealing out there. And maybe the key for them is just be patient. Maybe take that first pitch just to kind of settle into their at bats.
First pitch misses high to Ty Barker for ball 1. Barker 0 for 2, lined out to third and has flown out to left on the evening. Ready to go, the 1-0 pitch right there, but misses inside, and it's quickly 2-0 on Ty Barker.
A good patient approach here by Barker, which is probably, again, that's going to be the best way for them to get after Olson.
Right there, Barker able to foul this one away, and it's 2 balls and a strike on Ty Barker. It's definitely given the starting pitching for Spanish Fork here these last couple of nights have been really good for Spanish Fork. The pitch swung out and missed, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Fryer. If you can get your starter to go deep in the ball game, and in high school baseball, it's only a 7-inning game, it takes a lot of pressure off you having to go really deep into your arms. And that one swung out and missed, strike 3. Strikeout number 7 for Mason Olson. That is also number 6 in a row. The last hitter to record an out without a strikeout was Peyton Norman. As here comes a 2 for 2 Brock Watkins. Watkins a single on the first and a single on the third.
He's really been the lone bright spot in the offense for the Vikings, which comes as no surprise.
Pitch misses low and inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Watkins. Mason Olson's going to have to be very careful here to get if he wants to get a strikeout on Brock Watkins. I don't think Watkins strikes out very much. There's a diving attempt and a catch made by Tay Newman for a Mikkel Thompson and Wise attorneys at law. Great defensive play, and there's 2 away here in the 5th.
Wow, what a beautiful play out there at second base by Tay Newman. And he's usually over at the hot corner. He's usually playing third, and so it's a little bit of a different angle over there at second base. A little more reaction time as well. But, man, phenomenal play there by Newman.
Fryer swings at the first pitch, grounds it over to third, and Josh Dart throws out Jake Fryer, and the 5th inning comes to an end. No damage done for PG. We head to the 6th. 7-0 lead for Spanish Fork on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? Come to the guys you trust. The Car Guys are part of the Blue Diamond Auto Group, and they have the best selection of quality vehicles at the best prices for your budget. The Blue Diamond Auto Group with the Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes. Got me good.
But you know State Farm's got you too.
You ain't nothing.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbors State Farm agent Lance Wilson.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
I definitely recommend the Driggs team. They're amazing.
Hi, I'm Greg with the Driggs Mortgage Team, where we believe there's no substitute for experience. Stop by our office today on Main Street and let us help you get into your brand new home.
Top of the 6th inning here at Bruce Hurst Field in St. George, Utah. And a night like tonight where it's cold out and you try to do what you can to stay warm. And right now Spanish Fork's going to try to see if they can warm the bats up here, as you see lots of jackets and sweatshirts on in the stands for sure. And you know, it's going to be a cool night cleaning up tonight after the broadcast.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately. And I didn't pack my jacket, so that's kind of unfortunate. Don't love that.
Well, you're not the only one, as Andrew Pintar will stand in and take ball 1 outside for ball 1. Pintar, Nielsen, and Dart, 3, 4, and 5 coming up here in the 6th against Riley Thomas, who's really came in and quieted the bats of Spanish Fork. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Thomas on its way. This one sent foul, and we'll do it again. 1 ball and 1 strike. As you see, a very nice crowd sitting up there behind home plate up here at Bruce Hurst Field.
Yeah, it's impressive. Like, these are both, as we talked about, these are teams from Utah County, and so for these fans to come down and make the trip to St. George to be part of this tournament and be in this audience, we applaud you. And again, big reason why you got those blankets out there. It is a bit nippy out there tonight, so stay warm if you're out in the audience. And for you guys that are watching this live, hopefully you're watching it on a nice couch.
The 1-1 pitch outside for ball 2, and it's 2 balls and a strike here on Andrew Pintar. The 2-1 pitch, slow curveball in there for a called strike, and it evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A lot of different teams here from different classifications. A couple of teams from, I think there's 3 teams in the field from Las Vegas, or from at least Nevada. The 2-2 pitch on its way to Pintar. That one high, ball 3, and the count goes full. Teams from Utah County. There's no teams from St. George in this specific field, mainly because a lot of them are hosting their own tournaments on their own fields. 3 balls and 2 strikes, the count on Pintar, and the pitch on its way home. Swung out and missed, strike 3. Andrew Pintar down on strike, strikeout number 5 for Riley Thomas, and that will bring up Cy Nielsen.
Yeah, Thomas really finding a nice pitch mix for him. He's had a good fastball. They'd been able to elevate it to get those swings and misses, but also that curveball really has been something that the Dons have really struggled with, whether it be just watching it go down for a strike, or whether it's kind of not being able to time it right and missing on swings. And so this 2-pitch mix has worked quite nicely so far for Thomas.
Cy Nielsen takes a curveball low and outside for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Nielsen's been hit by a pitch, has walked, and then struck out in his last at bat. He just got challenged. He was the second batter that Thomas came in to face, and Thomas just challenged him with a fastball, and Nielsen swung through it. The 1-0 pitch right there on the corner. This one a called strike, and it evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Looking ahead for Pleasant Grove in the bottom of the 6th inning, it will be Peyton Norman, Kyler Lester, and Dylan Tran coming up. The 1-1 pitch blocked in the dirt for a ball, and it's 2-1 the count.
Nielsen's had kind of an interesting day at the plate here. Got hit by a pitch in the first and was able to score. He walked in the second, struck out in the third. About the only thing he hasn't done is really put a ball in play.
2 balls and a strike, time called to the last second, right as Thomas was about to begin his windup. Cy Nielsen saying, you know what, you're taking just a little too much time. I'm going to step out.
Oh yeah, get yourself in the right mind frame and get yourself ready to, again, as I said, hopefully put one in play.
Nielsen does, but pulls it foul past the third base bag, and it'll even the count up now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you're Spanish Fork and you play this right, Andrew, you would not have to face Brock Watkins again.
That'd be nice.
Just looking at it, the next 6 hitters, Watkins would not be one of them. However, that means you get him 6 up, 6 down. Here's the 1-2 pitch, blocked in the dirt for a ball, and the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes here on Cy Nielsen.
And it'll be interesting to see what Coach Nelson does here with Mason Olson, who has pitched an absolutely phenomenal game thus far. 5 innings. I've got 8 strikeouts for him, only allowed 4 hits, and obviously hasn't allowed a run. Do you let him keep going and go for the complete game shutout, or do you bring in some bullpen arms? It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Ball forward to Cy Nielsen. That will bring up Josh Dart, who is having in his own right a really nice offensive game with a single and a double, 4 RBIs, and a strikeout. So he's reached base in 2 of his 3 at-bats, and he'll stand in here ready to go from the left side of the plate.
Yeah, Dart, a big power bat in this lineup. He one of the last times he was down here in St. George in the state playoffs, he actually had a game where he hit 3 home runs. So this kid's got some pop.
There he sends the first pitch foul, and it's no balls and a strike. in the stats that I have, on at least on Max Preps anyway, through the first at least 4 or 5 games of the year, there's not a home run for the Spanish Fork team. That could be wrong, but just looking at what I have in front of me, that's all that I see. No balls and 1 strike to count on Dart. From the stretch, Thomas will snap throw over to first and almost airmailed the throw over the head of his first baseman. You have to be careful with that throw there, because here, considerable foul territory. That's an easy 2-base error. We saw Cy Nielsen do that last night. Dart swings through it there, and now it's going to be no balls and 2 strikes.
That was a big mammoth cut there by Dart. He wants to be the first one to have a home run this season with that kind of swing. Was definitely hoping to find some trees out there in right field.
And they might have had a home run. It just isn't in the statistics. Just the ones that I'm looking at in front of me here. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Dart. He fouls this one back. We'll do it again. Pleasant Grove only with 6 outs left to work with. Trailing 7-0 here in the top of the 6th inning. Spanish Fork, the visiting team last night and the visiting team today. I would imagine hopefully they'd be the home team sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, you would think that would be the case, just to kind of even things out.
Quick snap throw over to first, and the ball getting away there from Train over at first. The right-hander Riley Thomas working here in the top of the 6th inning. He's in relief of Cole Blackhurst, who started the ball game. From the stretch, ready to go. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball called strike 3. Josh Dart knew it. Immediately just kind of slams his hand against his bat there as to say, I missed one. The 6th strikeout for Thomas, and that will bring up the designated hitter, Hunter Clark. Clark, a sacrifice fly, been hit by a pitch, and then popped out to Blackhurst at second in his last at-bat. Clark, designated hitter, played on the football team as well and was out with an injury for a good portion of the season. Pitch, there's a snap throw down to first. The throw goes up the line, however, and they're able to get back is Cy Nielsen.
Yeah, they're really trying to keep Nielsen pretty close there at first base, which is kind of interesting with a 7-0 score here. I think that you'd want to just kind of take care of business against the hitter.
The 1-0 pitch gets in there for a called strike. Once again, we see that Barker behind the plate pops up looking to throw down to first, but there, no throw came. 1 ball and 1 strike to count here on Hunter Clark. Infield back for Pleasant Grove. They just need an out really at any base here to end it. And Clark pops this one up a mile high into the infield. Blackhurst's going to take it. Now Watkins, who tried to make the last minute adjustment, nobody comes up with it and everybody's safe. Brock Watkins came over from short and started, I think, to call off Blackhurst. I'm not sure if Blackhurst just lost it. It was just hit almost directly straight up on the infield. And I believe that's going to go down as an error against Brock Watkins, the shortstop.
Yeah, it looks like what happened there is Blackhurst definitely lost it in the lights. He kind of didn't really move, kind of threw his hands up a little bit, and you're like, oh, shoot. And that's why you saw Watkins running across the diamond to try to make the play, but just not able to get there in time.
Mason Nielsen takes a big cut there and comes up empty for strike 1. Nielsen 1 for 3 with a single tonight. And that can be hard, especially here with the lights on the field at night. Have to remember, teams in Utah, usually their games start at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And so you're used to playing majority of your ball games in the daylight. Swung out and missed, and it's 0-2. So usually the only time you see a lot of baseball under the lights will be in a preseason tournament like this or in the state tournament at the end of the season.
Yeah, and it is. It's a whole different ball game when you're playing underneath the lights. Like, you do have to deal with the sun, of course, during day games, but it's just so different.
Mason Nielsen looks at strike 3, strikeout number 7 for Thomas on the night. and that will end the top of the 6th inning. So Pleasant Grove still with some work to do. The Vikings trail the Dons by a score of 7-0. Still are trying to figure out Mason Nielsen. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors here on Spanish Fork 17. We got the Driggs Mortgage Team, McKell, Thompson & Wise, Attorneys at Law, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Two Jacks Pizza, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, MVP Sports, and the Car Guys at the Blue Diamond Auto Group. So Mason Nielsen to go back to work, and right now after Pleasant Grove, you got to try to figure out some offense quick to jumpstart it, and it's not going to be easy against Mason Nielsen.
No, absolutely, because Mason Olson has been just sensational in this game. Like, I can't overstate it. His fastball's been great. He's been able to locate it on both sides of the plate, really use it as a weapon. And his curveball today has been beautiful as well. He's been able to use it in fastball counts. He's been able to work it inside, work it outside. And the difference in velocity between his fastball and curveball really has helped keep the bats of the Vikings really just kind of off beat, off pace. And so, yeah, I'm excited that they let Olson keep pitching here. And so I'd love to be able to see an opportunity where he could potentially finish off this game, get the complete game shutout, because he absolutely deserves it. If he's still strong here after the end of this 6th inning, I really hope that Coach Nelson brings him back out for the 7th.
And I think part of that will be there's no action in that Spanish Fork bullpen or anything. A lot of that may be how quickly this 6th inning goes. He's been able to get a lot of these Vikings to quickly hit into outs. Here's Peyton Norman, 1 for 2. And he takes the first pitch, curveball in there for a called strike. He's got one of the 4 Pleasant Grove hits on the evening. The Vikings' last base runner to reach was back in the 3rd inning. Norman there takes a big cut and got off balance, and it's 0-2. Their last hit was the single back in the 3rd inning by Brock Watkins.
Yeah, it's definitely been a hot minute since they've really been able to really even put a decent bat on any pitch that Olson has thrown at them.
The 0-2 misses outside for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Peyton Norman.
As you're saying, he's just made such quick work of these guys in these last couple innings. Like, looking at the score sheet here, I'm barely seeing any balls, and even on the strikeouts, a lot of them are 1, 2, 3.
The 1-2 pitch. There's a one-hopper knocked down by Dart at third base. Norman will reach, and Pleasant Grove will get a big base runner right there. That was a rocket hit at Josh Dart. They're going to give him a base hit, it looks like, up here at least on the scoreboard. Peyton Norman's got his second hit, and that will bring up Kyler Lester, the third baseman. Josh Dart was playing in a step or two, almost even with the bag, which makes that play even tougher because he has to kind of field the in-between hop. And now we're going to see here we're going to see a speed-up runner over at first base. It's going to be number 19 for Pleasant Grove. That is Easton Fowler, who will come in and run speed-up over at first base here for Peyton Norman.
Yeah, nice game here from Norman. It's really been him and Brock Watkins that have been the bright spots here for the Vikings offense. That's now 2 for 3 for Peyton Norman, definitely doing his job, and there's a reason why he's the number 5 hitter in this lineup. Obviously, he's done a good job for them today. Just hasn't really been able to do anything because he got a single in the first when Watkins was on, and that's the closest that the Vikings ever got to scoring on Olson was when they had the bases loaded in the first, but just weren't able to capitalize.
There's a line drive right to Dart, who throws across the diamond for the double play. The McKell Thompson Wise, attorneys at law, great defensive play right there as Josh Dart just made the catch and then threw it across the diamond.
Oh, gotta love that. Nice job there by Dart to quickly react to that and then see that the runner at first was definitely off the bag far enough for him to gun him down over at first. Oh, that's beautiful.
2 outs. First pitch swung out and missed there by Dylan Train. Train's walked and struck out on the night. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Mason Olson. That one right low and outside for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Made it a goal not to mix up Mason Olson and Mason Nielsen.
It's hard.
The 1-1 pitch right there. There's a line drive shot past Darren Henry in the third base coach's box. We'll do it again, 1-2. I know I've done it once. I hope I haven't done it more than that, but you know, I mixed it up here. But Mason Olson has pitched a really nice ball game here, trying to get that final strike here and to end the 6th. There's a bouncing ball to Josh Dart. Up with it. He'll throw across the diamond and wide of the first base bag, down the line into right field. Time is called as the ball gets out of play, and Pleasant Grove will have a runner on at second base.
Yeah, it was fielded cleanly there by Dart, but then the throw just gets away from him there. So a throwing error that'll send Train over to second base.
And now we'll have another runner come in the ball game out at second base. That is going to be number 6. That is Caleb Campbell, who will come and run for Train out at second base. Cole Blackhurst now will come to the plate. Blackhurst 0 for 2, a pair of strikeouts on the evening for Pleasant Grove. And I think we're even going to have a pinch hitter here for Blackhurst. It will be number 1, Jackson Hill, who will come in and pinch hit. So Hill for Blackhurst here in the 6th.
Yeah, hard game for Blackhurst all around.
And Hill swings at the first pitch and drops it into right center field for a base hit. The shutout is gone, as scoring is Campbell from second, and it's a 7-1 lead here in the 6th.
Nice job there coming in as a pinch hitter. Hill sees the first pitch by Olson and sends it into the gap there out in right center. Does a good job, and yeah, the shutout is done now for Mason Olson.
We're going to have another pinch hitter. It's going to be that appears to be number 21 stepping up to hit. But it's not. It's 27, sorry. That is not listed on our roster. And the one that we got from Darren Henry. And Casey Nelson, I think, is going to come out here and see. We've seen this happen a couple times before, where they've made where sometimes they'll change jerseys, and right here, and we don't know exactly how this is all going to sort out. 27 is the hitter. Johnson will stand in and hit here for Pleasant Grove. Ty Johnson, a sophomore, will hit. The pitch comes in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. So Johnson moves into Gassman's spot. And right now, what they're just trying to do, I think, is find a way to jumpstart some offense here. Get some fresh bats up there. That one goes low and inside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Now you got to deal with Noah Taylor if you get past Johnson here.
And not a bad strategy. Go ahead and get some fresh eyes in there. Maybe that'll be able to see Olson a little bit better.
The 1-1 pitch misses low for a ball, and it's 2-1 on Johnson. Well, worked for Jackson Hill. Got an RBI base hit. First pitch he saw. And to come in and pinch hit that late, that's difficult to do. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one's skied high into the evening sky. Coming in from center field is Cy Nielsen. He'll run it down in shallow left center, and the 6th inning comes to an end. PG, however, gets on the board at the end of 6. Spanish Fork 7, Pleasant Grove 1. High school baseball here on Spanish Fork 17.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Thompson & Wise.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Start of the top of the 7th inning here from Brucehurst Field in St. George, Utah. It's a 7-1 lead for the Spanish Fork Dons, as you see Skylar Horine, the catcher, will get ready to lead it off here for Spanish Fork right here. New pitcher on for Pleasant Grove. It's going to be number 7 coming in. That is Trevor Ainge, a senior right-hander, will come in to face 8-9-1 in the Spanish Fork lineup, as the Dons will look to try to see if they can maybe get some insurance runs here in the 7th inning. The biggest thing for Pleasant Grove is they're going to try just to keep this at a one-run ball game. I mean, they don't want to get, or a 6-run ball game. They don't want to dig their deficit down anymore.
Absolutely, and so it'll be up to Ainge to keep the train rolling that Thomas had going. Thomas pitched a very impressive 3 2/3 in relief of Cole Blackhurst. Ended up striking out 7. I mean, he was rolling, and so a nice job of him to come in and kind of stop the bleeding for the Vikings, and now it'll be up to Ainge to keep that rolling and to stop the Dons bats and at least give themselves a shot to potentially come back here in the bottom half of this inning.
Looking around to see if the defensive changes and how those all played out. And the first pitch about ready to come home from Ainge, and that's a fastball just about belt high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes right here.
Horine 1 for 3 in this one. Had a single in the 3rd, grounded out in the 1st, and then struck out in his last at bat.
That one gets in there for a called strike, evens the count up, 1 ball and 1 strike here on Horine. Pitch on its way from Ainge. That one swung out and missed, and it's 1-2 the count now. Blackhurst remains in the ball game, by the way, at second base. Ready to go, the right-hander kicks and delivers this one home. That one's made contact, sends it down the right field line, hooking towards the bullpen, just running out of room. Out there is Jake Fryer, and it's going to be a long strike. Well, it's going to stay 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Fryer definitely gave that one a good chase. Thankfully for Horine, it was able to slice just far enough away from him to be able to not make a play on that one. So Horine able to step back in there, dig back in on this 1-2 count.
Ready to go. Here's the 1-2 pitch on its way home. That one swung on, popped up. This will be playable. Blackhurst, the second baseman, going out onto the outfield grass to make the catch. And there's 1 away here in the 7th inning, and that will bring up left fielder Tanner Peterson.
Again, can't take those pop-ups for granted, because obviously had the mix-up there in the previous inning where Watkins had to come across the diamond to try to make a play there because Blackhurst lost it in the lights. So at least that time, Blackhurst able to track that one down.
Tanner Peterson, who's 0 for 3, stands in, sends the first pitch foul back to the screen, and it's no balls and a strike to count on Tanner Peterson. Peterson, the only Don not to reach base in the starting lineup tonight, but he was aboard 3 times last night. Slow changeup there, looks like it stays high for a ball, and it's 1-1 the count.
And yeah, kind of stark contrast from his performance last night. And this one, it just seems like he's not being able to see the ball quite as well as he did last night. Again, the 2 strikeouts kind of an indicator of that.
That one swung on and fouled back straight up over the top of us here, and it's 1-2 the count on Peterson.
That's always fun and exciting. Sailed right over our heads.
We're in a nice enclosed booth, though, so no real big chance that we'll have a play on the ball. The 1-2 pitch, this one's bounced back up the middle towards second. Blackhurst up with it. We'll have to quickly throw to first and just get Peterson, who is running hard down the line. And with 2 gone, that brings up the second baseman, Tay Newman, who's 3 for 4 with 3 base hits on the evening.
Yeah, Newman has been very impressive in this one. Just 3 singles, being able to slap a couple of them out into the outfield. Definitely has a nice all-fields approach.
Swinging at the first pitch, sends it foul, and it's 0-1. They count here on Newman. This game got started with a 9 p.m. first pitch. This game just approaching in about 12 minutes now, it looks like. fastball would be 2 hours long. The 1-0 pitch misses low as that one bounces in for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Spanish Fork is warming up a right-hander. That's Dawson Lee down in the bullpen. Probably just in case Mason Olson begins to struggle. Here's the 2-0 pitch on its way. This one bounced over towards third, but goes foul before Lester can get there. And it's 2-1 the count on Tay Newman.
Yeah, probably a good idea to go ahead and get someone going out there in the bullpen just in case for Mason Olson. Again, he has been sensational in this one, only allowing that one run in the 6th. Otherwise, had a complete game shutout going. And again, his pitch mix has been very impressive in this one. And again, I would love to see him be able to complete this game.
Tay Newman takes that one there. That pitch goes high for a ball. And the count, I believe, now runs full. 3-2 on Tay Newman. 2-2 on Tay Newman. And the 2-2 pitch on its way. Newman lines a one-hopper right to Lester. Fields it cleanly, throws across the diamond. They're going to have to apply the tag at first, which they do, and the inning is over. So no damage done in the 7th if you're Spanish Fork. However, now Pleasant Grove has 3 outs to work with, and they need some runs quickly. Top of the lineup due up, Noah Taylor, Ty Barker, and Brock Watkins coming up. The good news there for Pleasant Grove, and Mason Olson will come out to begin, at least start the top of the 7th inning. We'll take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors for making these broadcasts each and every week possible on Spanish Fork 17.
And we've got the car guys over at the Blue Diamond Auto Group. Mikkel Thompson and Wise Attorneys at Law. Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. State Farm Lance Wilson. The Driggs Mortgage Team, MVP Sports, and 2 Jacks Pizza.
Well, we want to remind you that you can catch this broadcast and many of our other broadcasts on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. We also want to let you know we got 2 more coming up for you tomorrow at 2:30 first pitch between Spanish Fork and Timpanogos. 2 of the more storied programs. It wasn't too long ago those 2 programs were playing for at the time, what was the 4A state championship, where a really good Timpanogos team just absolutely shut down the bats of Spanish Fork. Tyler Cornish pitched just a great ball game against the Dons in that one. And then at 7:30, it will be Spanish Fork against Palo Verde to close out the tournament. Bunt shown by Noah Taylor. He pulls it back and takes strike 1. Taylor 1 for 3 on the evening. A line out, a single, and a strikeout. Mason Olson ready to go. He's been working quick on the mound. And the 0-1 pitch winds and delivers. This one high for a ball, and the count evens up. 1 ball and 1 strike on Noah Taylor. We'll have a quick wrap-up following the broadcast. We'll have our MVP Sports MVP of the game. The 1-1 pitch, foul tipped for strike 2, and it's 1-2 the count on Taylor.
Nice job to find a nice spot there on the inside corner on that particular pitch and gets the foul tip.
Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that one's fouled away over by the Spanish Fork dugout. We'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count on Noah Taylor. Ty Barker, the catcher, is 0 for 3, and then you have a 2 for 3 Brock Watkins to follow. Here's the 2-2 pitch, sent foul again. This one will one-hop the railing and roll down to the bullpen. Noah Taylor's been late on both those 2 pitches.
He has, yeah. Just Olson, even though we're in the 7th, his fastball is still pretty active, still got some bite to it. So, yeah, just not able to quite catch up to those ones. I'd love to see Olson potentially pull the string here and throw a curveball or a changeup.
Here's the pitch. Fastball misses outside, ball 3. The count goes full. We talked about that great streak of strikeouts Mason Olson had. His last strikeout came out in the 5th inning to Ty Barker. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Outside missed for a ball, and now count goes to 3-2.
Yep, got a little ahead of ourselves. It was a 2-2 count. Again, sometimes math is hard, folks.
3-2 pitch swung out, popped up. Giving it a look is the catcher for Spanish Fork. This one's going to go foul, however. And we'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that one just off the railing. He had a couple people that were hoping to make a play on that particular ball, but it was a valiant effort. They had to ditch the blankets and try to go make a play on it, but just a bit out of the reach for the crowd.
The 3-2 pitch on its way home, fouled straight back to the screen, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. You and I were standing, as you see kind of the first base side, all the way at the end there, and you and I were kind of talking during the American Fork Palo Verde game, and I looked at you and said, I probably don't want to turn my back to the field right now to talk to you. Probably want to keep my eyes in front of me of what's going on.
And there was a shot earlier in this game that went right over in that direction, kind of over by our cameraman Adam over there and over by where we were standing. So it's not fully safe.
3-2 pitch hit out into right field. We're getting over is Noah Conway, who makes the catch, and there's one gone here in the 7th. And that will bring up the catcher, Ty Barker.
Yeah, nice little play out there for Conway. Didn't have to move too much, but goes over to his left and makes a nice play out there and right.
Barker's lined out to third, flown out to left, and struck out in the ballgame. And the pitch on its way. Barker takes the strike in there at the knees for a strike, and it's 0-1. 8 strikeouts is what I have Mason Olson at right now. 1 run, 6 hits allowed. 0-1 pitch, low for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The impressive thing too has been he's hit 1 batter, and I only have him for 1 walk. That one swung on and hit foul, and we'll do it again. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, I only have the 1 hit batter and the 1 walk.
Yeah, he's really been in command, which is something that we've been talking about for most of this game.
That one swung out and missed, gets away from the catcher, who will fire down to first, and that will be strikeout number 9. That will officially go down as a strikeout. And Pleasant Grove down to their final strike, or their final out. Here's Brock Watkins, the shortstop, who's 2 for 3, a pair of singles and a line out to second, ready to go.
I mean, if you're looking for a savior, if you're the Vikings, this is the guy for you. I mean, he's been so impressive this season, as we've already talked about in this broadcast. But 2 for 3, and even the out was not necessarily a calm one.
And the night for Mason Olson's going to come to an end here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Brock Watkins will be the hitter, and the Dons are going to make a pitching change. And I tell you, Mason Olson put on a show tonight, and I'm sure he's probably nearing the end of a pitch limit so far. You have to remember, high school baseball, this is still early on in the season where starting pitchers are still probably working on building up their pitch counts a little bit. You'll still get to that point where you can go 80 pitches or so, but you start getting in that 100 range this early on, especially on a cool night, it can get kind of tough.
Yeah, you got to be careful. And again, this is all about health and safety for Olson. Obviously, they would have loved to have been able to keep him in to finish the game, but you got to be careful here, especially at the beginning of the season. You don't want to blow an arm out and have him not be in peak form come region play, or obviously thinking even further into the season as well, have him not be fully ready to go for the playoffs. And so this is about maintaining Olson and being able to make sure that you're keeping his arm, I guess, top priority at this point. Like, again, it's 7-1. Like, would it be cool to have him complete the game? Of course it would, but more important is going to be, we want him to be ready for his next start. We want him to be ready for the next 5 potential starts that he may have this season. So that's what this is about. So obviously, tip of the cap to him. 6 2/3, 9 strikeouts, only 1 run allowed 6 hits, 2 walks. I mean, like, this was such an impressive performance, and really his command was on display. Kind of a little bit different from the performance we saw last night from Cy Nielsen, where the stuff was there, but the command wasn't there. For Olson, the command was definitely there the entire game.
Dawson Lee, the new pitcher for Spanish Fork, throws ball 1 ball and no strikes. The other thing, too, is you can't pitch over 110 pitches in Utah high school baseball. And so you get to that 110 mark, your night's going to definitely become coming to an end after that batter. The count evens up now, 1 ball and 1 strike on Brock Watkins. Watkins, a pair of impressive base hits in his first two at-bats. The 1-1 pitch, low and outside for a ball, and it's 2-1 the count on Watkins. Also has a sharp line out to second. 2 balls and a strike, the right-hander ready to go, and the wind and the delivery on its way. And that one's hit well out to right field, sending the right fielder back to the track, to the wall. He runs out of room. A home run for Brock Watkins, and it will be a 7-2 lead now for Spanish Fork.
Golly, Watkins absolutely put the juice into that one. It's hard enough to hit a ball out of this ballpark, but to hit one out opposite field, like, are you kidding me? And he absolutely crushed it. This wasn't just a little fence scraper. This thing was well into the trees. So, man, what an absolute blast there by Watkins, who really, as I've said, he's been the bright spot for this Vikings lineup.
Jake Fryer stands in, takes the first pitch, low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Fryer. Fryer's been hit by a pitch, reached on an error, and grounded out to third. The 1-0 pitch, fastball right on the outside corner for a strike, and the count moves now to 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way, and there's a line drive into right center field for a base hit by Fryer. And the inning continues here for Pleasant Grove. Bottom of the 7th inning, a 7-2 lead, as Peyton Norman, the left fielder, will stand to the plate. Norman's got a pair of base hits on the night.
Yeah, if you're going to highlight someone other than Watkins, this is the guy that we're talking about here, is Norman. As Ryan said, 2 base hits, and I mean, definitely an opportunity here to extend this inning out and at least give themselves a shot to maybe potentially get a comeback going here. Obviously down 5, it's going to take a little bit of a special miracle here to be able to make it back into this one, but not completely impossible. But it's got to start here with Norman.
Ready to go, the pitch on its way, fastball, outside ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes on Norman. And that's just the thing right here, is that runner at first base doesn't really mean much to you in a 5-run ball game. 1-0 pitch on its way, fastball in at the belt for a strike, and it's 1-1. It's something that we saw with Paulo Verde in that first ball game against American Fork. They were holding the runner on. They were throwing a couple of pickoff moves over to first base here with 2 outs in the inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch, blocked in the dirt, snap throw down to first, and diving back safely is the runner Fryer. And maybe I have a wrong look at it, Andrew, but if I'm up 5 with 2 outs, I don't even know if I'm going to hold the runner at first, because I don't care if he goes to first or second here.
I honestly wouldn't care. I'd rather have my first baseman in the field of play.
Line drive right to Tay Newman to end the ball game right there. And a nice win for the Spanish Fork Dons, who moved to 1-1 in the tournament, getting a 7-2 victory over Pleasant Grove tonight. They will play twice tomorrow. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll have a quick final thoughts here. We'll have our MVP Sports MVP of the game. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? Come to the guys you trust. The Car Guys are part of the Blue Diamond Auto Group, and they have the best selection of quality vehicles at the best prices for your budget. The Blue Diamond Auto Group with the Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Finally got me, Ben.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street Crater, the mother of all potholes. Got me good.
But you know State Farm's got you, too.
You ain't nothing!
Go with the one that's here to help life go right.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
I definitely recommend the Driggs team. They're amazing.
Hi, I'm Greg with the Driggs Mortgage Team, where we believe there's no substitute for experience. Stop by our office today on Main Street and let us help you get into your brand new home.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Thompson & Wise.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Well, a nice night for Spanish Fork. The Dons able to get a 7-2 victory over the Pleasant Grove Vikings. Ryan Pickens alongside Andrew LaRose here at Bruce Hurst Field in St. George, where we talked about some of those costly mistakes the Dons made last night. Well, tonight they got off to a very quick start, Andrew, and their offense got it going.
Oh, they absolutely did. It was beautiful. It was something that was, as I said, kind of the exact opposite of the game last night against Faith Lutheran. It was we really struggled to kind of get going in that game, whereas this one it was right out of the gate. You able to see Newman, Conway, Pintard, Nielsen, these guys getting on base, and Dart with that big hit in the first again. So it was just jumping out in front, and that I think also really helped Mason Olson to groove into this game, get himself settled down, and really have a fantastic game. This was a very complete game for the Dons. Just to be able to see what they could do on offense. Didn't necessarily see any big, extra base hits or anything like that. Really, it was a lot of singles, which, as a team, those are the types of things that you need. You don't necessarily need to be swinging for the fences. If you just string together hits, you're going to score some runs. And so a nice, complete offensive game, and then obviously a stellar performance from Mason Olson on the mound.
And when you really take a look at it tonight, you kind of touched on both sides of it. You talked on the offense and you talked on the pitcher's mound with Mason Olson. Kind of hard tonight to just single out one Don. So we've decided to go a little bit, a little bit different tonight. We're going to go with our MVP Sports MVPs of the ball game. We're going to go with Mason Olson on the mound and Josh Dart. Those 2 base hits early on with Josh Dart, a single and a double, 4 RBIs for Josh Dart, really gave Mason Olson the confidence to say, hey, I can attack this lineup, I can go get outs, and if someone hits it out of the ballpark, then I have a nice, comfortable lead. And he really just settled in and did his part there with 9 strikeouts.
Boy, did he ever. And, man, 6 of those strikeouts came in a row. There was just a stretch during the 3rd and the 4th, and even a little bit into the 5th inning where Mason Olson was just completely in command. His fastball was absolutely grooving. His curveball, I can't talk enough about Mason Olson's curveball tonight. It was phenomenal. He was working both sides of the plate with it and was able to throw it in counts where the batters just were not expecting it. And so you saw him freezing so many batters with his curveball. And so it was a really good, complete performance on the mound for Mason Olson. But again, as you said, Ryan, there's no way we weren't going to leave Josh Dart out of the MVP discussion. Those 2 big hits in the beginning of the game in the 1st and 2nd innings were exactly what this offense needed to get things going and to get the runs on the board so that Mason Olson could relax and kind of do his thing on the mound.
When you take a look at it, a great complete game for Spanish Fork tonight. What they'll have to quickly do now is turn around a little bit quicker than they had to do last night. The Dons will be back in action coming up tomorrow. It will be a 2:30 first pitch here from Dixie State University and Bruce Hurst Field when Spanish Fork takes on the Timpanogos Timberwolves, a team out of 5A Region 8. And then they'll come back and play at 7:30 against Palo Verde. Both those games will be here. So here's the information for the game with Timpanogos. And then at 7:30, Spanish Fork against Palo Verde. Both those games will be here on Spanish Fork 17. So you have an opportunity to see that game if you can't. We want to remind you, you can catch replays of this game and our many other broadcasts on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. Tonight, Spanish Fork gets it done by a final of 7-2. A great night to be a Don here in St. George. For my partner, Andrew LaRose, and our entire Spanish Fork Community Network sports team, I'm Ryan Pickens saying so long from St. George, and we will see you tomorrow for more high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.